Welcome back. It is still the TV3Newday show, and we're about to get into the big issue. My guest this morning, lawyer Godwin Eduti Tamaklo. He's a member of the NDC legal team, and he's here to speak to us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
By God's grace.
All right.
Okay. And good morning to Isama.
Well, yes. So Isa Hussaini is here as well.
He knows why he's laughing.
MP for Okankwe North constituency. Why is he laughing?
No, because it was on this same platform that we took a bet. So that's why he's laughing. He thinks I'm coming to take.
Wait, what was the bet about? I missed it then. Tell us about it. Oh, I see. About him winning the MPC.
Yes, I told him.
Oh, you told him he won't win.
On the same platform, we went together here.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I told him that
really?
Obana.
Oh, I see. So he predicted.
I told him. He said, look, it is not possible.
No,
I told him
I have no idea what he's
Should you be listening to him often? Maybe, who knows? He can predict the next one for you. Are you going to run again?
Am I going to run again?
Yes.
I still have the energy. I am yet to decide.
Obana.
Over time, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Okay. What do you make of the current MP, by the way? The one who unseated you. Has she done a good job so far?
She's doing excellent.
I still think a year is too short to.
Fantastic.
Actually,
it's too short.
So let's see what happens.
Okay, let's see what happens. But anyway, let's go to Parliament now. Last Friday, it was quite an interesting sight, especially because Ghanaians. I said good morning to you, didn't I? Oh, I'm sorry, good morning. I thought that because of the conversation that we're having, so it was all part of it. So official good morning. Good morning,
Yeah,
sir.
good morning,
How
Bella.
you doing? Did you sleep well? Have you eaten? Everything okay? Let's go to Parliament now. And last Friday, like I mentioned earlier, it was chaotic as, all Ghanaians were expecting the final results of whether the 2022 budgets would be rejected or approved. And, well, for some reason, it was rejected, according to the minority. But majority says that it was rejected unconstitutionally. Let's take a look at how things went down. We'll also hear from Katie Hammond, who says that constitutionally, the budget was not rejected. And so let's take a look.
For the House to give him the opportunity to engage further with the leaders. Say aye. Those against, say no. Honorable members, I think the noes have it.
Parliament for the good people of Impraiso. Yes, if Asiedu Ketia doesn't work out of this chamber, nothing will go. Asiedu Ketia is not going anywhere. Asiedu Ketia is not going anywhere today. Asiedu Ketia is here. Everybody, we know you. You want to pay the money. Asiedu will leave. He must leave. He will not condone this something. What do you think you are? Nothing of what I say.
Honorable members, Honorable members,
But meters on the floor of this parliament. This house has not constitutionally, what is the word you use?
I said rejected the budget.
This house has not constitutionally rejected our budget. Read my lips. Constitutionally.
So
we'll be back on Tuesday. Are you listening to me? Calm down. Don't rush on me like that. Calm down. Just listen. Just listen. Listen to me. I am saying that this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana has not get the distinction right. You are saying that Parliament has rejected it. Now I'm using my words. I'm choosing my words very carefully. But that's what I'm saying. Parliament has unconstitutionally rejected it.
What makes it unconstitutional?
Now you listen to me.
Right.
On Tuesday, we will be in this house and we will deal with the question of the constitutionality of what has happened. So I said, mark my word, this budget has not constitutionally been rejected and we will revisit it. Full stop. Is that clear? I'm not giving you details.
Our viewers will join you.
Viewers will join you. Calm down. Yes, viewers, they will get everything
Exactly.
comprehensively on Tuesday. I am not giving you any more details.
And that is Honorable Governor Tahir Hammond, and popularly known as KT Hammond. He's the MP for Adansi Asokwa constituency in the Ashanti region. And he was speaking after that vote was cast in the chamber. And he says that it was unconstitutionally rejected. And so as it stands now, according to the majority, they're saying that the budget has not been approved, it's not been rejected. Minority says we constitutionally rejected it. Let me start off with you, Issa. Because I'm sure that majority thought that they were actually going to get it passed. And in fact, we heard from the former Deputy Finance Minister, Honorable Kweku Kwating. He's now the chairman of the Finance Committee in Parliament. And he said that, last year was when the minority had given that indication that they were going to reject the budgets for that year. But then for some reason, because they didn't have the numbers, they couldn't. So they thought it was just noise making. And so they expected that kind of thing to happen this time around. But in fact, this time around, they were taken by surprise because minority actually opposed the budget and he wasn't expecting it. What do you make of what happened on Friday in Parliament?
Yeah, good morning to you again, Bella, and then good morning to lawyer Judy, my friend. I don't know whether I can address him as a good friend now. and a good morning to your viewers, especially my constituents in Okankwinov. I'm hoping that they're having a good morning, and I want to give them the assurance that the illegality that happened in Parliament last Friday will be overturned, hopefully.
When you say illegality, what part of it was illegal?
Because the decision that was taken was illegal.
Which decision?
Because
exactly?
they didn't have the numbers to actually make such a decision, per the Constitution that we have all sworn to protect and guard and abide by.
They didn't have the numbers.
They didn't have the numbers.
Honorable Yunus Hussaini says they had the numbers.
They didn't have the numbers. They didn't have the. It's very clear. It is very clear, and I'm sure by now every Ghanaian watching us should be abreast of the issue. The Constitution, Article 104, we all quoted copiously over the last couple of days, says that Parliament should have at least half of the members present. And you see, things happen in Parliament, and sometimes by convention. If you watch proceedings in Parliament, hardly would you have the full complement of a quorum in the morning by 9:10 when the Speaker walks in to before the business of the House commences. It is. I for my time in Parliament over the last 4 years between 2017 and 2021, I never saw that. A lot of MPs probably will be in their offices waiting for the Speaker to walk in before they come to the chamber.
Even on days when you have to approve the budget?
It happens every day. It happens every day.
So this was not deliberate. And
It wasn't. I'm talking about quorums in the mornings.
Okay.
But the convention is that the speaker comes, he starts his proceedings, and then members will join. That's been how Parliament, and these are not constitutional or allowed by the standing orders. By convention, it happens. What happens in Parliament, sometimes, you see, we have the laws, but we have all the parliamentarians or the institution has also found a way to go around to make it very convenient for themselves. Let's say time of sitting. Time of sitting is supposed to be 10 a.m. In the forenoon per the standing orders. But sometimes the speaker will rule. I mean, this is when we start. I mean, for convenience and for issues. What happened on Friday was very sad, because I think that we have a parliament where the Speaker of Parliament enjoys being in the limelight even more than the institution he leads. In fact, we have had speakers since 1992. We saw D.F. Annan, how he carved his way through, and he was 2 times Speaker. We saw after him, we saw Peter Alajete. After him, we saw Sechi Hughes. After him, we saw, I think it was a woman, the lady before Dua Jaho. And now we have, and then we had Michael Kwe, before we have Bagme. Of all the speakers, who has been in the limelight more than Bagme? Bagme has only been in the seat for a year.
Is it wrong to be in the
Since
limelight?
1992, there was no time. There was no time when we had argued or if found space to talk about the hierarchy and where the speaker is placed. It's only Bagman who brings such matters to the fore. I don't know the limelight he wants. I don't know what he wants again. You are Speaker of Parliament. We know your hierarchy. So what is the argument? He enjoys being in the limelight.
What is wrong with being in the limelight? That's what I'm asking you. And by the way, let's give her the respect. So she's former right Speaker, Joyce Bamford Addo. Yes.
The problem I have is that he should concentrate on his job and guide the institution. Even for people like myself, who are the shortest stints in Parliament, I hold the institution to high esteem. How much more him, who's been there since 1992? And he prized himself the longest MP, 7 MP, for over 28 years. I expect him to respect the institution, lead the institution, and go by the tenets of the Constitution and the standing orders, and stop being.
The tenets don't prevent him from being in the limelight. That's what I'm trying to understand.
The tenets don't. But look, Bella,
what is
I'm
wrong
saying
if
this.
he's in the limelight if he's still doing his job?
I am saying this because today, if you go to Parliament, there are speakers who had left some legacy in Parliament. They are not there. But because of the work they did, their name just keeps springing. And outstanding speaker that we have had is Alajete. Today, if you go, the people who work in Parliament, the MPs who work, they will tell you. He brought reforms to the institution. He made sure that the institution actually took its place in the tripod of the arms of government. That is what we expect a speaker to do. You don't expect a speaker to go in and this self-seeking, self-praising thing, and now see where he has brought us.
Where has he brought us?
Oh, he started perpetuating illegalities to this extent. I was referring to quorums early in the mornings. It's a convention. 9-10 people. The speaker knows that he needs a third of Parliament to start proceedings. But it's become, I'll go again, like convention to start.
Your people were there.
So I'm telling you,
they stayed minutes for you to come back in. You still didn't.
Once staging a walkout is a tool that is available to every MP, to every caucus, they can use it as and when they think they deem it fit. Staging a walkout is a tool in Parliament that anybody could use it as and when they deem it fit. So what they did was not illegal. If they felt that the speaker in the chair is not being fair, is being biased, that tool was available to them to use. What we are saying, per the Constitution that we have all sworn to, Article 104 says you need a majority of MPs in the House to be able to put a question. And that didn't happen. And that makes that decision illegal.
I remember that the Majority Chief Whip, Honorable Frank Anodon, said that the reason why, you know, I think they staged a walkout or so was because they wanted to have a caucus meeting,
Look,
even with minority. And the Speaker had said that he was not even aware of it. He had not been informed about it. So is that not even wrong in its place? If we're talking about
on days like
stuff,
this,
you are supposed to inform the Speaker is supposed to know about it. Is he
on days like
but
this,
he says he didn't know.
I tell you something. I started by referring to early morning quorums. Sometimes there might be committee meetings happening. And every committee meeting it appears on the other paper. So the Speaker cannot say he's oblivious of what is on the other paper.
But he says he didn't know. So
he's saying he knew or he didn't knew, and whether the majority or group or whatever you want to call it has a caucus meeting, it's neither here nor there. There was a parliamentary tool available to them. They thought the Speaker was being biased. He was not ready to listen to them. Look, before the closing addresses,
it delayed Parliament. They were late. It delayed Parliament.
It delayed Parliament.
Yes.
Look, when I was in Parliament, we have been to Parliament in the morning when proceedings were supposed to start at 10 a.m. Sometimes it could delay as late as 8 p.m. Why? Because either some consultation between leadership and the Speaker was ongoing, or sometimes we're even waiting for committee reports to be able to proceed with the work of the day. In this case, the issue was that there was a contentious issue in the budget. And the finance minister is saying, look, let me engage the leadership. Give me time to engage the leadership so we could come to a consensus.
Why didn't he make an appearance during the debate? In fact, the minority even called him out and called his deputies out as well, because they were supposed to have made a show in Parliament when the debate was ongoing. They did not appear. We didn't even have the Minister of State in charge of finance there as well. And so why then should they give him another opportunity to speak in Parliament? He had that opportunity. He didn't make use of it.
Look, 99% of decisions that happen in Parliament is based on consensus. When I was in Parliament for 4 years, I voted, I think, on three occasions. Over 4 years, I only voted on 3 occasions, and so a lot of the decisions are even taken outside of the chamber before the matter comes to chamber. Whether or not the minister was there, he has said that we have come to a point where we are giving closing addresses on the budget, on the policies in the budget. Give me an opportunity to engage leadership and by extension to Parliament. And then we can come back and make a decision on it after the consultation.
Okay.
And this is a Speaker who says, no, I am not going to give you any opportunity. How then are we supposed to proceed with such a Speaker in the chair?
End on this for me so I can bring counsel in.
So it's very obvious. What happened last Friday is an illegality, and I think that the Speaker is just being on, or it's becoming.
You didn't have the numbers, which is why you didn't want to stay.
Who didn't have the numbers?
Did you have the numbers?
Whether or not we had the numbers, he called for a head count when the minority was there.
No, but
he could have called for it.
In this case, it's a numbers game.
He could have called.
Because we had a hang Parliament, and so you needed all your.
We don't have a hang Parliament. We don't have a hang Parliament.
What do we have?
We have a majority group in place. We don't have a hang Parliament. We have an asset majority group in place.
Okay.
We don't have a hang Parliament. A hang Parliament is when it is divided in the middle such that there is no majority group and there is no minority group. This is not what is happening in that Parliament.
No problem. Let me bring counsel in to respond to this, because the majority are saying that as it stands now, you have not rejected the budget because you didn't do it constitutionally. They were not in the chamber when the Speaker asked for the vote.
Okay, so Bella, thank you very much. First of all, before I even start, I need to put on record that the rejection of this killer budget is premised on 3 fundamental grounds. 1, the obnoxious, ill-conceived Bawumia tax on our Momo.
Why do you call it Bawumia tax? He was against it anyway.
No, he's the chairman of the economic management
But there are
team.
videos showing that he was not even for the introduction of taxes on Momo transactions anyway.
You see, that is why you should be
can we call
worried.
it e-levy?
That is why you should
and
be
not
worried.
Bawumia tax?
That is why you should be worried. A man who, just in 2020, because of election, the real intention was to tax it in 2020. But looking at the pendency of the election, they decided that, look, let's deceive the people, get their mandate, and now introduce. And that's exactly, and you should be worried about that character.
That it was
it is not an issue of fact. This is politics, deliberate. But let me proceed. 2, the ejaboni that they sneaked into the budget. Look,
Ejapa, you mean?
Yes. Martin Amidu had written extensively. The Attorney General of the Republic at that time wrote extensively on Ejapa. I will call it Jaboni. And in this whole transaction, it was clear that there was no basis. All Akufo-Addo wants to do is to use our gold royalties now against what future generations will be deserving of. 3, the luxurious and offensive expenditure being incurred at the office of the president. On these 3 fundamental principles, we rejected the budget. But I'll speak to the specifics. Look, if you look at Article 104, it is clear. It is clear to the extent of the numbers required for Parliament to consider and to do its business. What exactly happened on Friday? On Friday, we all know that Parliament was supposed to start at 10. It delayed. In fact, as at 10, right to 12, the members of the majority group decided that they will not even come to the floor, and there are pictures of it. To the extent that my own friend, the Honorable Sam George, had to come out and say, what exactly is happening? Are they running away from their own budget? Subsequently, they intimated to the Speaker that Speaker should give them 30 minutes to put their house in order. That 30 minutes, indulgent by the Speaker, turned out to be over 2 hours. Why was this whole, tricks by the majority group? Because at that time, 3 of the majority MPs were airbound, coming to Accra from the US. Kenneth Japan, Henry Quarte, Amwakwata. And so they needed them to come back. And Delta Airline was landing at around 2. So they needed them to come so that they could quickly show up their numbers. The other 2 things is that Adwoa Safo was not in Ghana. As at the time of 2 p.m., she was in Boston because we were following. Look, our General Secretary, as at 8 a.m., was already in Parliament, mobilizing the 137. We never wanted to play with this one because the entire National Executive Committee, the political committee of the NDC, marshaled all our 137 MPs because we could not understand why Akufo-Addo wants to do this to Ghanaians at this point. So when all of this thing was done, Speaker indulged them. But as at evening, they still realized that Adwoa Safo was not in. And so if you put the votes, there was no way they were going to do. And now if you look at Article 104, 3, in fact 2 says that anytime there is a tie, the motion is deemed lost. And so if they were going to do 137, 137, even with Speaker presiding, because in the absence of Adwoa Safo, it means that the motion will be lost. So they deployed a tool called filibustering, and every parliamentarian knows it. All you do is that you distract and obstruct in order that a vote will not take place. So if you look at the reasons the members of the majority are giving now, why they even staged the walkout. One,
They said they didn't
Another
want the
Press
General
said,
Secretary.
even from Another Press, in terms of official position, they said they wanted to go for a caucus meeting, correct? But we all saw how my friend, Davis Opoku, decided.
You have a way of referring to these people as your friends, including myself.
Yes. No, because
Are you not his friend, though?
No, because Davis and I worked together in 2006. Then as students, he was in UCC, I was in Legon. And we've kept that relationship to date. And he knows it. So there's no point about it. But the point I'm making is that his decision to now call out General Mosquito, who was only, what you call it, in the public gallery. He was not on the floor.
But we all know what happened before they decided to ask for General Mosquito to also leave. Because the minority also didn't want to agree for the finance minister.
First of all, the issue of the finance minister was not an indication from the minority.
Yes, the speaker.
Remember that when the speaker said the noes have it, the Honorable Afenyo Makin rose on point of law and said, look, per the standing orders, they think that there is the need for a division.
Yeah.
And then when the speaker read the rule, he said the per the rules, before the head count to be done, the House need to be cleared of non-members. A question. Is Ken Oforiatta a member of Parliament? Definitely no.
When you say the House, are we talking about just the chamber down there, or does it also include...
Everybody knows that the floor of Parliament is where official business takes place and not the public gallery. So the decision by the majority group to extend the floor of Parliament to include the public gallery, completely mischievous.
So if Ken was in the public gallery, then it wouldn't have
Completely
been a
no problem. In fact, there were journalists in the public gallery. And General Mosquito never came to the floor. He was there. But they decided to extend the conversation to him and then now use that as a ruse. But the real intention is that they knew that Adwoa Safo was not in the jurisdiction. And they needed the opportunity to show up their numbers if they had gotten an adjournment. And the speaker saw through it. It is clear. And you see, I have always said that if you read the Constitution, what the Constitution says is that you need a certain number first to form quorum. During the debate, half should be present, correct? Or majority.
At least, yes.
At least majority. Now, what is the constitutional provision relative to this matter? It's a very simple one. Bella, the evidence of presence and voting is the register of attendance. As we speak, the register of attendance puts how many members on the floor of Parliament on that day? Over 200 MPs. That's the register. That's the official record of proceedings, nothing else. Today, as we speak, the burden is on the majority side to show that they were not present. And look, history is even on our side. If you recall, in the 1980 rejection of the budget, the late Professor Benny narrates how, as finance minister, his budget was rejected. And he tells an interesting story that even though Liman's party had the majority MPs, when they came to the floor, formed the quorum. At the time of the votes, actual vote, when Dr. Johnson Oforiatta moved the motion for the rejection, some of the majority MPs have stepped out. But they were present, as recorded. So the vote was taken, and it came out 54-51.
Okay.
And that's how the budget was rejected in 1981. Now, the point I'm making
Please
is
land
that...
on this for me. I want to play a video
Yes.
of the majority leader.
Absolutely.
Something that
But
he
you
said.
see,
I'll bring you
what
in.
is clear, and I quickly need to rebut, it appears there is a whole conversation by the MPP to demonize, to destroy Speaker Bagby.
Why
It
do
is
you
a
say
very,
that?
yes, it's a very regrettable thing to do. First of all, what is this business about Speaker always wanting to be in the limelight? He's the Speaker, for Christ's sake. Now, when you have a deliberate strategy by the MPP to undermine his authority, who better can fight for yourself than yourself?
Which is why he constantly appears in the media.
Because
speaking
if you
about
have a
these issues.
situation where even his election as Speaker, Chairman Sabonsu has consistently tried to create an impression that he was never elected as the Speaker. You don't want him to respond? The first time that Speaker raised this issue of what is your number, it was because Chairman Sabonsu had tried deliberately to undermine. Even look recently, when Minister Amwakwata decided in a very reckless manner, even before the budget to be approved, to stop the collation, the taking of toll.
Yeah.
And do you know that, Bella? Every day we take over 200,000 Ghana cedi toll. This minister continuously is causing financial loss to the state. What was Speaker's problem? Speaker only said, look, Minister, until the budget is approved or disapproved, it does not take effect. This is basic. And Amwakwata is a lawyer. So if Speaker says this, it means that he has been in the limelight.
I'll let you hold on this.
So, Bella,
I'll let you hold on this, please,
Bella,
so that
it
we
is-
can play this video.
It is regrettable how the MPP have decided to demonize the Speaker.
Okay.
Why? This speaker is 10 times better than the okay you offered.
Okay, no, okay. Let's
we'll
not
go
do this.
there.
I'm sorry, but let's not do this.
Because
And
you see,
please
it's
let's address them out of
it's
respect.
unfortunate.
I'm sorry,
Don't go that way.
but let's not do
Don't
this.
go
I'm
that
sorry,
way.
but I will not allow the denigration of any.
don't
I am saying that he's better.
But
Don't
the
go
way
that
you
way.
couched it, I'm sorry.
Don't
The way
go
you
that way.
couched
Don't
it
go
is
that
wrong.
route.
Look, he used
You
the
can't
word
go that route.
he used the word that
No.
speaker is self-seeking.
No,
You
but
kept
if
quiet.
you say that, that's,
Bella,
I'm
you
sorry,
kept
let's
quiet.
not
I want-
disrespect or
Look, I
denigrate
just took-
another
I
personality.
just took my pen
in
and I was
making our
taking my
point.
note. When he said Speaker Bagwin is self-seeking and all of those things, bias and what have you, you kept quiet.
He didn't
is
say
it bias?
biased.
He used the
I
go
never
and play it. I was taking notes.
Okay, we will not denigrate any personality at all on this show, and please, I do apologize on for that. But let's quickly take a look at the majority leader in Parliament actually coming out to say that it was wrong on their part to stage a walkout. Take a look.
Even if you know that what you did was wrong, you still want to justify it. I mean, the Constitution and our own orders are clear that what you did cannot stand the test of any law. But you still want to, hoist your flag. We accept that. But beyond that, and I'm telling you that what you did was wrong. But beyond that, we must move Parliament forward. And I think where we are, the leadership of the two caucuses cannot do anything than to try to reconcile.
And that is Honorable Oseche Mensah-Bonsu. He's the majority leader in Parliament. And he says that walkout was supposed to trigger, a suspension and not an adjournment. And so they've conceded that walkout was even wrong.
What I have
So
maintained,
what are you defending right now?
What I have maintained is that a walkout is a tool available to every MP, every caucus to use. And if in the spell of the moment they had applied it, there's nothing illegal about it. That is my point as well. He is saying that at the point they probably shouldn't have worked out. But what I am also saying now is that it's a tool available to them. And at any point in time, if they felt that they wanted to rely on it, there's nothing illegal about it. Look, my colleague here was talking about the presence or otherwise of Sarah, Honorable Adjo Asafo and all of that. Look, this is a parliament since 1992. At least us at the time I was in Parliament, the 7th Parliament, we even had issues to the side of when do you consider an MP as being in Parliament? to the ordinary, they might seem. When I go to Parliament, I walk to my office. I walk into a committee meeting. The committee meeting lasts a whole day, so I don't get opportunity to go into the chamber. Am I considered to have been in Parliament? Do I need to go to the chamber to actually write down my name and then just walk out? Is that when it's considered that an MP has been in Parliament? These are issues that we are still contending with. But we have the Parliament being a master of its own rules and all of that has found a way to manage all of this. So whether or not Sarah was in Boston, you see, it just also pains me. It pains me that we are using the institution of Parliament, which I hold in such high esteem, to propagate our political agenda. Like we said, this is not the first time the NDC has tried to pull back the budget of the NPP. They tried that earlier. They didn't have the numbers. So they were resolute that we are going to use political means to denigrate.
Were you also not using political means?
Political means how?
Has the majority leader lost his power, his grip on the majority
Why do
side
you
in
say
Parliament?
so?
I'm asking that because, again, we saw that video of who instigated the walkout in Parliament, and that's Honorable OPK. He's the MP for Ward in Praiso. And the concern that many people have raised is the fact that how is it that a first-time MP is the one who's asking other people who have been in Parliament for so long, including the majority leader, to walk out, and he actually also walks out?
No, it's a bizarre situation. I really can't understand where you're coming from.
How is it bizarre? These are concerns by people.
That what?
So if you say where I'm coming from,
That
how
what?
is it that a first-time MP,
You see, calling somebody a first-time MP, whether a backbencher or not, he represents a constituency.
but there's a majority leader. There are leaders. We have the whips.
He represents
And so
a
are they
constituency.
not the ones who are supposed to even determine what decision is taken, among the
Of
majority?
course, that is why we have the
So
front
if he's
bench.
the one asking them to stage a walkout, is that not problematic? Does it mean that the majority leader has lost his grip
I
on
don't
his
think
own
that. I
people?
don't think that the decision for the caucus to walk out was taken only by the supposed MP, the first,
but we
the
see
first time
clearly
MP.
signaling them to all
the
walk
fact
out.
the fact that
Vigorously
the
asking
fact
them to
that
walk out.
Bella, the fact that he was captured on camera encouraging other people to leave the chamber does not mean that the decision actually came from him. Does not mean. No way. Look, I remember there were instances when people had actually crossed over, and I remember there was a particular case. I can't remember the issue that was being discussed, where we had come to near fisticuffs. I don't know if you could recollect it in the 7th Parliament. And I don't think that HMS Abunso, for that matter, or the front bench will encourage some other MP from the back bench to come and... No, we won't do that. He does his work as a leader of the caucus, as
but
a leader of the majority.
He's saying that it was wrong. They got it wrong.
And I am saying
they got it wrong. He has admitted it. I am saying
that. He is saying that they got it wrong. Fine. But what I am also saying at this material moment is that it is a tool that is available. And if a caucus decides to use it at any point in time, it is not illegal.
But that's your leader speaking. He has more parliamentary experience than
he has
you.
come.
So
of course.
If he's saying this, and you are also saying something totally different.
In the heat of the moment, something happened. I'm sure that when the others walked out, he also walked out. And now he's come back.
Walked out before a lot of them, because we saw him at the back.
No. As a leader of the caucus, he's in and out of parliament, of sitting.
So he was
so
already
many
on his
times.
way out.
No. He's so. I mean, that's what his work requires. See, many times he has to go out, meet people, and sometimes even the leaders of the two sides, they will just go out. You know that they are going to have some discussion, and they come back. So it is part of parliamentary procedure that he goes and comes. So sometimes things might even happen on his blind side. Things might even happen on his blind side. Who knows?
But you called
This is a case where this budget, the motion was moved by the finance minister. In the other paper. It comes to decision time, and you insist that he should leave.
But you called for a division.
Yeah, they called for it.
The same people who called for a division did not even stay in Parliament to actually even see that.
Yeah,
happen,
because
the
process leading to.
So how are you going
the process leading or the processes involved in the division? They weren't satisfied with it.
Which is why they walked out. So how are you going to see to the finality? The speaker read everything to you.
Of course, when Afejo Markin called for a division, he knew what entailed. He knew the processes that had to go. Had to ensue for the division to happen.
And he was doing exactly that, was he not?
No, he wasn't.
He was reading. The first point was to clear them from the chamber and the lobby. He was doing that, and he was going step by step.
He wasn't.
The finance minister actually bowed and left.
He wasn't. He insisted that if he didn't leave, he was going to let the marshals remove him. And you see, when I was in Parliament, in the 7th Parliament, there was only one instance where I saw an MP being removed. It was Honorable Sweeney, because Honorable Joe Osewusu was in the chair and it was being disrupted. One in 4 years. So for the speaker to threaten that if you don't leave, I'm going to get a marshals to remove you forcefully. For the Honorable Ken Oforiatta that I know, I don't think he will wait for that to happen to him.
What's the way forward before I bring council in?
The way forward
as at yesterday, the minority had put out, the minority had put out some 5 conditions under which they were going to approve the budget if these conditions were met. Now I'm being told that it's reduced to about 3 or so. So it's about the tidal waves. They want to see that make a representation in the budget. Also, they don't want the Japa in there. And then the third one is the e-levy. They want it scrapped completely. If they don't see these 3, they are not going to approve the budget. What do you say?
Given, I made a point that whilst I was in Parliament over 4 years, I voted on 3 occasions. It means that voting in Parliament is actually not what takes place. Most issues, we come to a consensus, both sides. I am happy that the minority is beginning to move from 5 to 3. I am sure there is some engagement. I expect that leadership will talk. I expect that MPs on both sides of the divide will talk. Look, Ghana is the ultimate winner when we come to consensus on issues like this. And that's what I expect to happen. That today, we'll go to Parliament, and a lot of people are expecting fireworks and all of that, but I expect that leadership will engage, and we'll go to Parliament, and the procedures will happen.
Could we not
and then
have
we'll have the
avoided
budget
all
in
of this?
place.
I mean, I remember
We
the finance
could have.
minister saying that he knows how to get
could
all of
have.
you to toe in line and
Of
approve
course.
the budget.
This is the
Do you think
consensus that I'm
this
talking
is
about.
probably why this happened in the first
You
place.
see, this is the consensus I'm talking. Look, when I was in Parliament, I was on the Finance Committee, and I tell you, a lot of business come to the Finance Committee, and we found a way, always to get to. Rarely did we have just majority decisions or things like that. Rarely. If the finance minister said he knew a way, maybe from the experience of what he did in the 7th Parliament, he will be present at committee meetings, engage, listen to all sides, give concessions, and then we moved on as a people.
You don't think it gave an indication that money would exchange hands, or
it is not about money.
Something untoward would happen, which is what would force the minority to.
It is no. If we keep saying it's about money, it makes who is he going to pay? Pay the minority for them to toe the line of government.
We saw the minority
I think
say that they were
be
going to reject
belittling.
some 3 ministers who had been appointed at that time, and they were awaiting approval. They said they were going to reject them. We remember that clearly, and then for some reason they approved all of them.
That's what I keep telling you, that this rejection and voting at plenary, it's not the norm. It's not the norm. Who knows? There have been consultations. They have sat down and decided that, look, it's in the interest of Ghana to get this business done.
So it's not about money exchanging hands. It's not about something untoward.
It's
no backdoor.
It is about getting Ghana going for the people of Ghana. That's what Parliament has.
Let me bring counsel
about.
Bella, just for the record, as at Friday, it was not only Minister Ken Ofori-Atta who was on the floor. Chasedu Abuahin was there. Ayoko Botwe was there. Yes, I mean, all of them were there. And so if you needed to do a head count, it was just fair that they excuse the other members of Parliament. It is nothing untoward. It is rather the irresponsible decision by the majority, who are, in quote, the sponsors of the budget, to run away from their own budget. That is what Ghanaians should be worried. And now, all that, you see, the majority in Parliament, they have a leadership paralysis. Chairman Sabunsu has lost focus.
How has he lost focus?
And what he does, and he is very good at it, is quickly divert attention. Look, you are the leader of government business, not you. What you do is that you build consensus even before you come to the house. Can you imagine that it was on the floor that Ken Ofori-Atta was now asking for time to go and consult the leadership of committees? Can you imagine that during the debate, the Honorable Aveji even said, look, the budget as it stands now, there are issues. Can we judge before? The deputy ranking, majority leader, said no, let them proceed. At that time, the ministers were not on the floor. Please. The ministers were not on the floor. And he raised concern that, look, you are the sponsors of the thing. Come join us in the debate. Can you imagine that of all the conversation, look at the work Media General you've done, even with the tidal wave issue in Keta. One would have expected that a thing like this that have run on the mind of the nation within this period would be captured in the budget. To the extent that the Minister of Works and Housing now comes out and says he was surprised that it was not in the budget. What was the level of consultation? It is becoming clear that even this Bamia tax issue, the details were not properly, looked at. Okay, if you say so. But you see, let me set the record. I heard you say that, okay, the minority, the demands have gotten down. Yesterday, really? One of your colleagues put out that information. The Honorable Abeji even indicated that as he speaks, there had never been any serious consultation, let alone to have the numbers reduced.
So it remains at 5?
Yes.
Okay.
But you see, Bella, what our friends are running away is that if you look at Order 34 of the standing orders, it is clear as to what the register should contain. And the constitutional provisions say present and voting. First of all, to vote is not mandatory. So someone can actually be present and on principle decide that he will not partake in the voting. And that is why the Constitution did not make voting mandatory. It only says present. Now the only evidence of presence is the register of attendance. And the register of attendance captured the number of persons who attended Parliament on that day.
Which is why the voting still took place.
Fantastic.
So it's not about being present in the chamber at the time that voting is taking place.
If not, the constitutional provision would have made it clear. The provision didn't say present and present at the time of voting.
Yeah, but the same constitution also didn't say that it has to be at the time when you have,
But I am saying that Parliament from 1992 to date, the record of presence is the register, nothing more. In fact, there is no time that during proceedings again, members are allowed to go and enter or re-enter their names into the register. He has been an MP. If he had ever gone back to the register to take his name out of that, he can tell us. It is never done. So the register prima facie evidence of who and who is present. But you see, what we cannot run away is that as we speak, the president, who is the leader of government business, had failed the president. And not only the president, MPP members as well. But instead of taking responsibility, because responsibility is hard for him, they have to put everything on Speaker Bagbin and make him the scapegoat.
You've made this point already.
No, but the point, I need to do that because that is what they are feeding their members and basically inciting their members against the person of Speaker Bagbin. It is unfair to him. Especially so, anybody who watched proceedings on Friday will see the level of overindulgence by Speaker Bagbin in order to allow the majority group to constitute a full number.
The minority seems to be more focused on trying to make the majority look bad. That is what it looks like.
No, but,
Are you not willing to at least meet them halfway
and
figure this out? Because we cannot also govern without a budget. We need the money.
You see, that is why it calls for responsibility and tact. If you are the majority leader in a parliament of this nature, you don't need arrogance. You don't need to be talking down on others. Look, on that day...
That's why the minority has decided that come what may, we're still going to reject this until they come to that level?
No, I've given you an indication that the rejection of the budget has saved Ghanaians over 7 billion Ghana cedis. It will be in a Momo wallet. You are not happy that today, if you decide to send money to a sick relative, this government is not going to extort money from it. Ghanaians are so excited that a Japa has been rejected. That, look, Bella, can you imagine that the amount of money we are taking to the office of government machinery had moved from 2.5 billion Ghana cedis to over 3 billion? I mean, how can we continue funding this luxurious lifestyle of the president? It cannot go on. And so, what has happened today, the history will record the minority group of having to save Ghanaians from these obnoxious taxes. As for this whole idea that, today we'll go to parliament, can you imagine that after all of this, have you heard the president speak?
You want him to speak on this particular issue?
Where is the leadership? The country is on autopilot.
You want the president to speak on this?
Yes. Do you know why? In the US, when Joe Biden sponsored the $2 trillion infrastructure bill, members of his own Democratic Party, the Progressives, stood up against it. The president himself engaged to the extent that he got 13 Republicans to join in passing it. That is what leadership is about.
If the president spoke with the minority also...
He has not.
If he did...
No, he has not. I am putting it on record. I am putting it on record. He has not.
That's what I'm asking, that...
Because you see...
Would the minority have at least considered if the president had spoken? Is that what you're trying to say?
A country has a leader. You call everybody on board, especially looking at the kind of structure we have in parliament, and then you allow cool heads. The minority have made some demand. He said, look, this is what you are saying. I'll concede on this. Can we judge on this? Can you take this? But you see, Our president is still living, thinking that he still has 169 MPs in parliament.
Hold on to that. Hold on
No,
to that.
Bella,
Hold on.
Bella,
Let
before you
Cookie.
go,
Cookie
Be-
has been
before you-
standing
just-
for quite
just,
a while. Can we at least
give me
allow
2
her to
seconds.
read?
Unless
Just
on
allow her
the
to read.
issue of the president
I'll
engagement.
let you still make
This
that comment. Let
engagement-
Cookie. Let Cookie just read the messages. Sorry, Cookie, for making you stand for
It's
that
fine.
long. Carry on.
All right, just moving on to a few messages. Why does the MPP want Ghanaians to believe that this budget is what will make Ghana prosper? We have been mining gold, bauxite, manganese, exporting timber, cocoa, cashew, and we have never prospered. How would e-levy make us prosper? In any case, if e-levy will make us prosper, why did they borrow excessively for the past 4 years? This is commonsensical. From Honorable Anefi in Tamale Central constituency, please, do we sack a Ghanaian citizen from the public gallery of parliament if he or she has caused no harm? I need education on this. Osman Bukurisong is speaking this morning. Good morning, TV3. In fact, Johnny's Bite is my food for thought. It makes me feel encouraged because someone is feeling how I'm feeling and expressing it for the authorities to comprehend how Ghanaians are suffering. More vim, Johnny, from Victor Rapture in Ho. Original Slide from Kintampo says, good morning, Bella. I sincerely believe that Honorable Oseche Mensah Apenyo Marking and Honorable Anodon Prayer must resign for failing to show leadership by allowing an inexperienced first-time MP into misleading them to boycott their own so-called Ajinkwa budget. Original Sly from Kintampo sent in that one. Do we still remember the first sitting of the same parliament when the minority decided to sit at the majority caucus side? This minority needs to be put in order. Most of their actions in parliament are erroneous. Ghana is not a banana republic. Master Planner Junior Kintampo sent in that one. I hope the parliamentarians will put aside partisanship and accept the 2020 budget today. If the 1.75 e-levy will be reviewed downward, that will be good, but completely scrap it will not help the development of our country. Even so, to provide more jobs for Ghanaians. Kwesi Reynolds and Aguna Odobing sent in that one. Iban from Kwabenya says, I think it's high time the MPP stopped the pettiness. Issuing bench warrants on Honorable Sosu will not change the minds of the minority group to bring the killer budget. They should accept the fact that Ghanaians are not interested in the killer budget. Good morning, and thank you for the good work you're doing for this country. I am a NAPCO beneficiary. Okay, so this whole NAPCO thing again. She's just saying that the September and October stipends have not been paid, as we were told by yeah, okay, so I'll skip that one.
Yes.
Now, Bella, good morning. Please, so I don't understand this. What's the MPP trying to achieve? If the finance minister wanted to meet the minority and they declined, why should they still be pushing that he should be giving the chance? The question is, if he was given the chance, who was he going to hold discussions with? Is it by force for them to listen to him? Jean Mensah refused to speak in court, so there is nothing wrong with the minority refusing to engage the finance minister. And this is coming from Basil in Damango. The last two. The majority group was not having the majority numbers needed for the approval of the budget at the time, so they resorted to communist inferior tactics by allowing first-timer MP who has no leadership roles to lead them out. The issues raised by the minority are in place. Philip Nomeshi from Way in Keta, oh yeah, who were there yesterday. Now, MPP says the speaker does not have the power to take the decision, so he gave members the opportunity to decide on the finance minister's request. Now, the processes were started and the MPP walked out, led by a COVID MP. Oh, wow. From Impresso, a backbencher, Charlie, you people can talk. Oh. Bella, it's okay. I will leave it here. COVID MP,
we have sharp mouths.
I can't take it.
Lisa, please carry on.
I was going to take it up from the point of consultation and whether the president is speaking on it. Look, you see, in Ghana, we actually like the independence of the arms of government. You don't really love the president openly poking his nose into judicial matters, which should be under the jurisdiction of the Chief Justice or into Parliament. And Parliament as an institution has its way. And so many times MPs will tell you, an institution that we do our own laws, and we are master of our own laws. That's what Parliament insists of doing. That doesn't mean that there's no consultation behind the scene. What is transpired over the weekend, what is transpired yesterday. I don't know how much my friend here knows, but I tell you that consultations go on every time.
Okay.
Because while I was in Parliament, I knew. I mean, sometimes you had a minority MP has a very pressing issue with a minister or something. He might just, oh Charlie, give me some lead. I want to meet this guy or something. It happens every time. So it is not a matter of the president not having spoken.
Should
but
the majority given to the 5 conditions set by the minority before
it's good that the sides are talking, and this is not an issue that should take us to war.
Should they give in to the 5 conditions?
What I'm saying is that a lot of issues, 99% of issues in Parliament, are decided on by some consensus and not by voting and not by war. I am sure it is good. It is good. It is good that
tidal waves make a representation in the budget.
Of course, the Minister for Works and Housing has been there. He's spoken about this. He's been to Qatar. He's spoken about this.
The Housing Minister has not been to Qatar.
Wait.
The Housing Minister has not been.
I have heard him.
He has not been to Qatar.
Fine.
We came from Qatar yesterday.
Fine.
He's not been there.
Fine. Given.
He only went to Adan.
Given. Oh, he went to Adan.
But he's not
didn't
been
go
to Qatar. No.
But Adan also had issues of tidal.
No, he's
right?
not been to Qatar.
Adan also had issues of tidal.
He's not been to Qatar. So
fine.
let's not throw sand in the eyes of these people.
Given that, okay, let me. The Works and Housing Minister has been to Adan. He's not been to
Adan
Qatar.
is not Qatar.
Now I'm saying that he's been to Adan, not Qatar. Oh, but allow me to flow.
Carry on.
He's been there. He's said that wherever the sea defense project ended, he is going to ensure that whatever needs to be done, it's done for the people to actually get their place of abode, and we've had other interventions from institutions like the Coastal Development Authority.
But they didn't make a show in the budget.
I mean, they even before the budget, the quota is gone there for the fishermen who lost their canoes and who
but we
lost
need
their
the money to be able to, fix the sea defense. And they didn't even make a show in the budget.
Like
he
this,
came out and
issues
said he
like
spoke
this,
to the finance minister hoping that it will make a show.
You see, the budget itself it's not an event. It's a build-up. The budget is a build-up.
Is that not what informs expenditure for the year?
At the time they started all of this, they started out with it is not the first time it's happened, but at the time the budgetary processes started, maybe this was not topical. So I'm not too sure. I am not sure.
Should we scrap E-levy?
I am what I'm making. No, I think that is very unfair. I am not the ultimate decision maker.
I'm asking
what
you.
What I'm saying is that it is good that we have an indication that the minority has some demands on the budget.
Should we scrap E-levy?
The minority side has some demands or some.
Ghanaians are asking that
I am saying that the minority side has some demands, and the sides are engaging, and hopefully by the time Parliament opens,
Toll booth workers are very happy that the budget has been rejected.
They are happy.
They are very happy. Let me bring the council.
I keep hearing. One last point. I keep hearing that about 200,000 cedis a day from toll. But the minister says that what actually comes to government coffers is 78 million a year.
72 years. That's the annual.
Yeah. So if there are alternatives in raising that and will give the convenience. Look,
but the budget has not been approved.
I go to Dodua very often. And the ease with which I drive through that toll booth in the last 2 weeks.
There was traffic yesterday. I used the motorway. There was traffic.
You are saying the motorway. I am talking about. Oh, yesterday. Yesterday was Monday. Okay, Sunday I used the motorway.
And I wasn't even going to
and yesterday I used the motorway to and fro to Committee 4.
What time?
And on Sunday in the afternoon. And the
was Monday.
Not yesterday. I said Sunday. I said Sunday.
Yesterday there was traffic.
The ease with which I drove on the motorway, I said, wow.
Okay.
Thank God for Mwakwata.
Bella, let's look at the way forward. I am interested in the way forward because the investor community are looking at this budget. Remember that we have interest payment obligation, salaries and other obligations all in the, obviously salaries and other expenditure, you can do it on account, which is always possible. What is key is for the president, the vice president, Chairman Sabusu, to demonstrate leadership at this crisis level and call for engagement. As for the patapa that they think they can bulldoze their way, unless they bring the military on the floor of parliament.
No, they cannot do that.
No, they have done it already during the election of the speaker. Do you know the people you are dealing with?
They cannot do that.
They brought the military to invade the House of Parliament. They have done it before, and you are giving them the benefit of the doubt. You look at their conduct. But what we should be looking at now is that we have a financial crisis almost at our end. The last time in October when this government attempted raising some bond, it flopped. Investors are not even happy. What we need is cool heads. And that is why I indicated that the budget belongs to the president. Finance minister only does the presentation on his behalf. Your budget has been rejected. The late Professor Benny says that when the budget was rejected, the Liman government quickly put a revised budget together, presented it to the floor, and it was approved. The NDC minority group have demonstrated conduct. 2021 budget, we approve it, correct? We have raised legitimate concern. Why are you not willing to make concession?
Are you also willing to make concession at a point?
The concession is that we are only asking for only 5 line items. What is wrong asking for the tidal wave issue to be? How do we, what concession can we make on this? If you are saying that Momo should not be taxed, what concession can you make again?
I think we'll make a lot of money from that. At least if it's 0.5%, would you agree?
Between you and I'm telling you that there's no justification consistent with what Bamia said in 2020 that Momo should be taxed. It should not.
And what concession? My time is up. We have to go.
So just closing on this, I am simply saying that with the greatest respect, let's have some respect for Ghanaians. Let's know that the majority group failed the president, they failed MPP members, they worked out on their own budget. They cannot hide their shame with this shambolic showing in the media. It is terrible.
I think that a minority uses the institution of parliament to project their political agenda. I think let's think about Ghanaians. You keep saying things like, you don't want to. When you come to the table with the joint positions, it is very difficult to engage you. For where we find ourselves.
But if they're open to engage, you will engage them. And we'll end on that note. Thank you so much. Issa Hussaini is a former member of parliament for Kankwei North constituency, and lawyer Edudi Tamaklo is a member of the NDC legal team. I was almost giving you a new party. Well, quick one. Don't have rejected you. You never know. Maybe they'll welcome you with open arms.
We know how you started. We know how you started.
You are 7 years today. Wishing you a day that is as special in every way as you are. From Auntie Millicent, happy birthday. And again, belated happy birthday to former President John Dramani Mahama. Yesterday was his birthday. God bless you, sir. We'll be back with some more. And the deputy majority leader in parliament, by the way, Honorable Afenyo Makin, will be having that exclusive conversation with Johnny Hughes on the show. And also, we'll be talking about diabetes. November is World Diabetes Month. And as we end the month today, it's necessary to have a conversation about that. We'll have someone who's been living with diabetes for the last 20 years to tell us about her experience. So keep watching. This is TV3 New Day. And thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. But please agree so we can construct the sea defense wall for them. They need it. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. Sports is up next. And we'll be talking about Lionel Messi and that 7th Ballon d'Or award. We'll be back.